The Hapag-Lloyd container ship Osaka Express came down the Elbe from Hamburg. Built in 2007, she is 336 meters long, 43 meters wide, and drove to Thames in Great Britain. The One Future was sailing from Hamburg to Antwerp. She was built in 2024. Her length is 366 meters, her beam 51 meters. From Rotterdam Maasvlakte came the COSCO shipping Scorpio. With her length of 400 meters and her beam of 59 meters, she was sailing to Hamburg. This vessel was built in 2018. This is the Maersk Hamburg, and she was underway to there. This box mover is 7 years old, 353 meters long, and 54 meters wide. She came from Felixstowe in England. Coming from Rotterdam Maasvlakte was the CMA-CGM Jacques Sade. Her length is 400 meters, her beam 61 meters, and she was built in 2020. Her destination port was Hamburg. Through the drizzle drove the CMA-CGM Tarragona, with destination Maasvlakte in Malta. She is 261 meters long, 32 meters wide, and was built in 2010. From Delfzijl in the Netherlands came the freighter Cora Joe. She was built in 2006, is 111 meters long and 13 meters wide. The 2024-built Ever Mega came by in her private drizzle cloud on her way to her maiden call to the port of Hamburg. The vessel has a length of 366 meters and a beam of 51 meters. The Hapag-Lloyd container ship Al Manama came from Southampton in England. She measures 306 to 40 meters and was built in 2008. The MSC Slaughter R was sailing from Hamburg to Felixstowe in Great Britain. She has a length of 281 meters, a beam of 32 meters, and is 23 years old. The feeder ship Acacia was underway to Aarhus in Denmark. She is 149 meters long, 23 meters wide, and was built in 2004. The Guayaquil Express came from Thames in England. She is 333 meters long, 48 meters wide, and 8 years old. This is NQ Mila, a chemical tanker. She came from Hamburg. Her destination was Bilbao in Spain. Her length is 138 meters, her beam 23 meters, and she was built in 2003. Finally, nice weather. But now we have air shimmering over the water. Well, there is always something, isn't it? Right at the late morning, the one Mackinac came down the Elbe from Hamburg. She is 366 meters long, 51 meters wide, and was built in 2015. Her destination was Antwerp. The Conroe Atlantic sail came from Liverpool in England. Built in 2016, she is 296 meters long and 38 meters wide. The Cape Sable is a 2024 built feeder ship. Her size is 188 to 32 meters, and she came from Thames in Great Britain. Later then, the tanker Stella Polaris came by, on her tour from Hamburg to Rotterdam. She has a length of 117 meters, a beam of 17 meters, and was built in 1999. Now the Guayaquil Express came back from Hamburg. We had seen her before, but now she was glowing in the warm light of the afternoon sun. She now was on tour to Antwerp. For the last time, the Hamburg Express drove to Hamburg. From now on, she will only drive to Bremerhaven and Wilhelmshaven. The ship was built in 2024 and was christened in Hamburg. Hamburg Express has a length of 400 meters and a beam of 61 meters. She came from Rotterdam Maasvlakte. Yes, we also had already seen the Ever Mega in her private drizzle cloud, but now the new-built container ship showed herself in all her glory, in the bright sunshine. This time, the Ever Mega was underway to Rotterdam. From Rotterdam Maasvlakte came Weg de Hoog, a 20-years-old feeder ship. Her length is 149 meters and her beam 23 meters. From Hamburg to Riga in Latvia drove the freighter Udio-AI. The LPG tanker Steiner Kosan came from Tarragona in Spain and drove to Stade. She measures 120 to 20 meters and is 17 years old. Udio-AI is 11 years old, 120 meters long and 15 meters wide. The tanker Dornier came from Aarhus in Denmark. She is 123 meters long, 17 meters wide, and was built in 2008. The bulk carrier Fitness is 15 years old. Her length is 176 meters, her beam 26 meters, and she was built in 2010. Her tour had started in Jelsa in Norway. Edith is 20 years old, and at that age some makeup wouldn't do any damage at all. Anyways, she came from Szczecin in Poland. Her length is 140 meters, her beam 20 meters. This bulk carrier had lied at anchor on the outer Elbe before. Now she was driving to Hamburg. Santa Ace is 200 meters long, 32 meters wide, and was built in 2022. The MSC Bettina was underway to Rotterdam. She is 366 meters long, has a beam of 51 meters, and was built in 2010. Malik Arctica is a container ship that came from Sauda in Norway. 8 years old, her size is 114 to 23 meters. The container ship Maersk Horsberg is 353 meters long, 53 meters wide, and 8 years old. She came from Tanger Med 2 with destination Hamburg. The Ever Alp is a 400 meters long and 62 meters wide container ship that was built in 2021. She came from Rotterdam Maasvlakte. And so we have reached the end of this film. I hope you enjoyed it. Ciao, says your Bavarian on the Elbe.